Welcome to Latina Literati, the channel for Latinas and the Latina friendly. If you like places, interesting people, and especially books, this is the channel for you. Today we're taking you with us to Bahia de Banderas. And Bahia de Banderas gets the name from the many flags that were waved by the indigenous people of the area when they saw the Spanish coming, basically telling them, this is really our land, we don't really want you here. But unfortunately, most of them would not live to see a decade because of, as we know, the disease and treatment. So Bahia de Banderas was first named that by the Spanish, and it's one of the largest bays in the world. It's 42 kilometers, almost 37 miles wide. And so since the very beginning, 14th century, the Spanish have looked for safe harbors from pirates, because the treasure ships would arrive from the Philippines just laden with things that had been stolen. So Bahia de Banderas was perfect for replenishment of food and water, and then also continuing on up to what would become Mazatlan, overland to the coast of Veracruz, and then by ship to Spain. When the galleons would arrive, it is said that hundreds of humpback whales could be seen splashing in the waves of Bahia de Banderas, and a sweetwater river called El Río Cuales was filled with crocodiles. And this is the land of the iguana, but more on that later. The Bahia de Banderas is surrounded by beautiful hills, and those hills were filled with silver. So very quickly the Spanish started mining the silver, and people started providing different equipment and food and things that the people, that those forced to work in the mines needed to survive. A little bit to the north of Bahia de Banderas was a town called San Blas. You may know it from the Maná song, Yay Maná. And it speaks about a widow who is waiting for her sailor. But anyway, I digress. So from San Blas they would bring supplies, and in 1851, Don Guadalupe Sanchez Torres, whose family had been supplying the miners, and salt especially, because of course in the tropics, in the heat, you need salt to preserve anything, mostly meat. He and his family, on the 12th of December 1851, established the first outpost in the Bahia de Banderas. Obviously, there were many indigenous people that lived there before. It's important to recognize and to appreciate the indigenous people that were there before. The first outpost was established on the 12th of December. Logically, it was then called La Peña de Santa Maria de Guadalupe, because the 12th of December, as we all know, is El Dia de Guadalupe. The original shanties grew into a fishing village, supplying seafood to the surrounding areas. As the Mexican Republic grows, then so does the appetite for fresh seafood. In 1918, the town was renamed Puerto Vallarta in the memory of the illustrious lawyer and governor of Jalisco, Don Ignacio Vallarta. Word of the beauty of the area could not be silenced. In other words, the word of the beauty of the area got out, and in 1963, Hollywood arrived big time. With huge stars and the press right behind them, Ava Gardner and Richard Burton filmed The Night of the Iguana. The Night of the Iguana was filmed in Mismaloya, which is a little beyond Puerto Vallarta. But the important detail was not the filming of the movie, but that Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, both married to other people at the time, had an absolute passionate and very public affair going on, and the press was documenting it all. The presence of A-list celebrities coupled with A-list chisme meant everybody wanted to go to Puerto Vallarta. So tourism the demand for tourism in this sleepy fishing village just shot up. This lush, beautiful tropical bay has never been the same. The governor, seeing a good deal and a means for economic development, soon after committed funds to things like a proper airport and highways and infrastructure projects that would allow hotels to ring the bay. And Puerto Vallarta then took on this growth that has doubled and doubled and doubled in size. It's pretty amazing. It is now the third largest city in Mexico. So this infrastructure and this growth were meant to meet the demands of people wanting a bit of this paradise, right? In the year 2000, 71,000 people lived in Puerto Vallarta. 20 years later, it is Mexico's third largest city with almost 3 million inhabitants. Everywhere you go, there are signs that Puerto Vallarta is on the rebound to pre-pandemic numbers. About 10 million US passport holders visit Mexico every year. It's the most visited country by US citizens. Sorry, Canada. If you don't believe me, ask Ted Cruz. And what do Mexicans say to the millions of visitors and the thousands and tens of hundreds of thousands who overstay their visas? They say, bienvenidos, we are neighbors and you're welcome here. Very different attitude. Hermoso cariño. When you're in Vallarta, as they call Puerto Vallarta here in Mexico, you have to sing with mariachis, and you maybe can taste a little bit of tequila, a little bit of mezcal, and enjoy the beautiful people, the wonderful weather. It's just a great place to visit, either for a long weekend or for a whole week as we're doing here. So enjoy, and we've given you just a few places that you might like to try. Don Chavas, Piatti, Tintoque. Beautiful, beautiful places with wonderful people that are there to delight your culinary senses. If you haven't visited Mexico, you need to visit Mexico. And Puerto Vallarta is an easy place to start because if you're on the West Coast, in 2 to 3 hours, you're sipping margaritas on the beach. And there are bookstores and hospitals if you should need one, and everyone is there to help make your stay special. And so I'm not being sponsored in any way by a Mexican Tourism Board or anything, but I just feel like Mexico is an easy place to visit, and it's a place that allows us to understand better our place in history, because California was Alta California and Baja California was Baja California, all part of the Mexican territory. It was definitely part of the whole Western United States history. Mexico is one of the most welcoming countries on earth. No holds bar. And so if you haven't been, I'd encourage you to come and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful nation and wonderful people. So now on to my favorite part of the video, the book recommendations. So as always, the best place to get the books is your local library, your local bookseller. And if perhaps that's not available, we always provide the descriptions and links to purchase the books if you'd like from booksellers that offer books, and also use your purchase, leverage that to provide literacy materials to communities around the country. So we always want to, if we can, support businesses that support others, and local businesses, of course. So the first book I want to recommend is called A Compact History of Mexico by El Colegio de Mexico. And it's exactly what the title suggests. It's a compact history of this wonderful nation and the important interplay between all of the nations of North America over the last several hundred years. So we can't really separate out Canada, the United States, or Mexico without understanding what the historical interplay has been and what the different countries' roles have been in each other's history. So it's an important book and a way to begin learning a bit more in depth about this wonderful country. The second book is called Villa and Zapata, and this is a book which talks about two of the most important generals in Mexican revolutionary history. So both Pancho Villa and Emiliano Zapata are central to understanding not just revolutionary Mexico, but also really tell a lot about the character of the Mexican as an individual and also the culture. Really interesting book, so I highly recommend it. The third book is called Érase una vez en México. And again, all of these are linked below. And this is the first, Érase una vez en México, is the first book in a series to be published about the history of Mexico. And so again, highly recommended. I think that it's going to be a fabulous series, and I'm looking forward to the upcoming books. So thank you so much for coming to the end of the video. And as always, we wish you mucho cariño, mucha salud y siempre mucho amor. Gracias.